Welcome to the Board of Adjustment meeting today, January 10th. It's 6:02 p.m. And Jamie, if we could take a roll call, please.
Mr. Cooper?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Mead?
Here.
Ms. Rathburn? Here. Mr. Stressaw? Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Mr. Hagopian?
Here.
And Chair Elfman.
Here.
You do have
And
a point.
just for the record, Mr. Stressall had sent a letter in that he was not going to be able to be in attendance this month or next month. So we wanted to make sure that was noted for the record.
And to be submitted as part of the record as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Like the teamwork. Appreciate it. Okay, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Bob, if you could please.
Everybody please rise. The flag's right behind us. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes from last month.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Great. So each member of the public that wishes to speak after each item is presented and discussed by the board will have 3 minutes per item. Representatives, associations, and groups will have 5 minutes. So let's start with swearing in. Jamie?
Anyone who intends to speak, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any testimony you give at this public hearing to be truthful and accurate? Yes? Thanks.
Thank you. I have a request for a deferral of case number 5. If Jana Loda, if you want to come up, if you want to make that request. I think you still have to press the button. There we go.
There we go. And I just want to clarify, I believe it is item 5. Thank you for clarifying. I thought I was number 6. Jana Loda with Holland and I on behalf of the applicant. I apologize for the late notice this afternoon, but we received notice that some members of our team were unexpectedly not going to be able to make the meeting. So as such, we would request a time certain deferral to the February meeting of the Board of Adjustment, which I believe is February 14th.
Okay, and let me read that case into the record. That's case number 23110001, address 1700 North Andrews Avenue.
And Janet, Dwayne Spence, Deputy City Attorney. For the record, do you also waive any statutory? No, the speaker's right here. Statutory. Deadlines pursuant to the Chapter 166.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion from the board.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, if we can roll call, Jamie?
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman.
Yes.
It's
Okay,
unanimous.
see you next month.
Thank you for your accommodation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next case, case number 230800004, 2500 Riverland. Hey, Jamie, you did do the swearing in, or you did not yet? You did. Okay, thank you. Any disclosures? Start with Milton.
No.
Doug?
No.
Jason?
No.
I did a drive-by previously. Bob?
No.
Caldwell?
Previous site visit.
Okay, Pat?
None.
Okay. If the applicant's here and would like to get started. Is there an applicant? Nicole Delgado? Okay, no applicant. We're going to move on. Next case, case number 2307000.
A moment here. We need to.
Do we have to suspend the show?
I need an action from the board with regards to the case.
What's our options?
Or you can actually hear it without the applicant present since it was properly noticed, or you can defer it to another meeting if you so choose.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
See, I think I did the deferment last month with, I don't know if you seconded or not. That's our second. I'm just asking board guidance. And so last month was our second deferment. This would be our third.
That's correct. It was originally scheduled for November 8th of 2023.
Was this the one where they wanted the garage to, and it was, if it hadn't been incorporated from the county, it would have, the height limitation would have been okay? Is
Yes,
that this one?
yes.
I don't know what, and he was from Denver. He flew in, something like that, right? Yeah. I'd go ahead and defer it again, just, you know.
Does the board want another month or?
Yeah, and then I'm assuming that they would contact, would staff contact them and find out why they weren't here? Okay.
I mean, we went back and forth with them at the last meeting, whether it's going to be this month or next month, this month or
Yeah, we
next
did, maybe,
month.
they
and-
could have been confused. They could have, because I think it was discussed at being February, but they wanted to push it, and there might have been some confusion, I don't.
Were they even here last month?
Yeah.
Oh, they were? I don't
And we
remember.
do have a waiver on file, so.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we defer this to the February meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, Jamie?
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn? Yes. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, next case, number 2 on our agenda, 230-70003, 1201 Bayview Court. Is there an applicant here for 1201 Bayview Drive?
We don't need to.
Are you the applicant, or you wanted to speak to it? We would need the applicant here for that.
We sort of did that already.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, first of all, disclosures, you know, I've spoken to Abby Laughlin, but I don't think I was all that much in favor of deferring it the last time, and I would not be in favor of deferring it again. So you know, if you want to open the public hearing or what, I don't know what the procedure is, but I would make a motion to deny the variance.
Okay.
Second.
So before we continue that, Dwayne, I'm just going to ask your guidance on this. Can we make that decision? Open public hearing? I don't want to get us into a situation.
So you can proceed with the public hearing. I'm trying to recall whether or not we held a full public hearing at the last meeting on this item and closed it, or if that remains, if you deferred it prior to the closing of the public hearing. I don't recall if that was the case.
Okay, well, if we could have a public hearing, then let's open it up, because people did come here for this particular case.
I don't know if it's necessary.
Didn't this case start
So-
in the summertime?
I would,
So it,
point of information
sure.
from staff. If my memory's right, and I'm starting to, you know, run, some of the stuff runs together, but I think we had lengthy conversations with the local folks and the homeowner groups, and I think the board expressed our concerns and a nudge to go meet with some of those folks. If they haven't, and they're not showing up today, I'm sort of like mind with a lot of the folks up here in the table, and we can dispense with this tonight without a public hearing, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so I
If
do
it's
recall,
legal.
so the public hearing was held, the item was deferred, deferring action on it. On the table, we have a motion by member Rathburn and a second by, which board member was it?
I can do it. Wherever.
Okay, you
Okay.
may proceed on taking a vote on that.
I just had a question before we voted.
Yeah, go ahead.
For staff, how many times has this item been deferred?
And and I just have a question because it's been a while. Dwayne, should I make my motion in the affirmative that we grant it, or a motion to deny? What?
No, the requirement is that the board make a finding that supports their motion. So if you're making a motion to deny, there needs to be findings on the record that support the motion to deny. I think the practice of the board for ease was that it was easier to make a motion to approve and deny it based on the record not supporting it.
Okay, but it could
Versus articulating and stating on the record the basis for the denial.
Oh, okay. The basis of my motion for denial was that after the public hearing and all the testimony we heard at the last meeting where this was presented, I didn't feel that she met the criteria, or the applicant met the criteria for the granting of a variance, and there was no hardship. So that's the basis of my motion to deny.
Okay.
Okay,
And-
before we take that vote, did you answer Cobal's question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys got busy talking about information. I guess I had a two-part question. Number one is, how many times has this been before our board, or have we deferred it before? And also, has the applicant been in touch with city staff at all?
Yes, they have. So this would be the third. All right, so this would be the third time. The first time, city staff requested that this case be moved. The other times were from the applicant.
So she's made a request to defer it from tonight?
So she requested, so the board moved it from November 8th until January. So this will be the second time.
And we haven't heard from her.
No, they have not requested a deferral. Oh, okay, my apologies. Correct,
At her request?
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
but we haven't heard from her as,
She originally asked that it be moved to February in her original request, but the board deferred it till this month.
So it's one deferral.
Right,
What-
and have we had any communication since then asking to defer it again, or we've heard nothing?
So I did advise her that if she wanted to defer to the February meeting, to send me some type of communication, and for her to request to the board to defer it, but I haven't received anything. But she did inform me that she will be out of town.
Well, I guess out of town's more important. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions, any other discussion before we take a motion? Or, I'm sorry, before we take a vote on the motion? And are we clear on the motion, Jamie? Okay. So in that case, let's do a roll call.
Can you repeat the motion? So which way is it going?
It's to deny because it doesn't meet the criteria and there's no hardship.
so a vote yes is to deny.
Yes, yes to deny. Mr. Jones? Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
And Chair Hoffman?
Yes. Okay, motion passes to deny.
Unanimous.
Next case. Case number 230700002, case number 3 on the agenda. Any disclosures? Milton? No. Doug?
No.
Jason?
No.
Bob?
Just an aerial map review.
Okay, Caldwell?
Site visit.
Okay, Pat?
None.
And none for myself. Okay, if we have an applicant, if you could come up and speak in front of the microphone. State your name in relation to the property, please.
Please turn on the microphone.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Steve. I'm the owner of the property and the landlord.
If you want to state why you're up here today and what you're requesting.
Yes, so basically we did a pergola to protect my assets against the big trees and what is the huge trees around my property. And I love the mother nature and I don't want to root and cut the big trees and the oaks, what is basically nice on our neighborhood. but with some time, I would like to protect my assets and my cars and what I have in my property. So we comply with every code enforcement, triangle, the street situation, and honestly, it's no bother nobody. I mean, in my neighborhood, if somebody have here, so it's bother my pergola, so I can protect my assets against the big trees. With each wind, what is blow, it's coming like big hacks from the trees, and it's basically make damages in my cars. And because this situation, I don't want to cut the trees, I don't want to pull the permit for the cut the trees or something like that. But with same time, I would like to protect my assets. If basically this is the reason why I'm here.
Okay, don't go far. I'm going to see if there's anybody from the public that wishes to speak, and then we may bring you back for some questions. So, is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak to this matter? Okay, and sir, I'm going to let you kind of step aside, and we'll have them come up one by one. Please. So, sir in the front, if you come up, state your name and your address when you get to the microphone.
Do I have the press here where it says press
No,
here?
you're good. You're
oh,
live.
Good. Yes, my name is Ted Jagustin. I reside at 3005 Southwest 25th Street, about 1 block away from Steve's property. I am also the vice president of the Riverland Manors Association, a stakeholder in this case. And I'm here to deliver a message from our board, okay? And I won't take a small part of the 5 minutes I'm allowed, about 2.5 minutes.
You're good.
One, we would like the owner, the Riverland Manors Association recommends that the property owner of 3000 Riverland Road take the following actions. 1, implement a code-compliant 25-foot site triangle with an unobstructed view from 2.5 to 8 feet height, free from obstruction by movable or stationary objects. This will assure the motorist, cyclist, pedestrians, and school children from the Riverland Manors Middle School, 2 blocks away, can approach the intersection with the safety they are entitled to by law or the higher standard of ethics. 2, dismantle any accessory building structures that are above the 5% maximum lot area allowed by code, and engage the services of a drainage engineering professional and or contracting company to implement a drainage system that will certifiably retain 1 inch or 2.5 inches per hour of stormwater on the property as required by code. After the above 2 actions are taken, if there are any additional accessory buildings required or proposed setbacks that are not presently in violation of the code that will not adversely affect the community, then come back to the BOA to request another variance with drawing sizes and dimensions indicating the utility purpose for a single-family dwelling in residential district RS 3.52.
Thank you, sir. Before you go, there may be some questions. So does anybody from the board have any questions while he is standing here before we bring him back?
Yeah, just as I was reading this yesterday, I gather this whole case started from code violations. Was that?
There were code violations in the past. They may have been corrected, but our main, the 2 complaints are that the company is in serious code violation at the intersection. And this, it causes motorists that come from either direction, they have to go right into the bicycle path from Riverview Lane to see around what is a totally obstructive view in the site triangle. That's 1. And 2, there are significant violations of water emitting from the property onto the adjacent street and to the adjacent neighbors. Whatever the reason for this, it needs to be abated and addressed by the owner. And the present accessory buildings are right now constructed and in violation of code.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
And sir, if you want to come up, you wish to speak?
Good evening, everyone. everyone. My name is Scott DeStefano, 2410 Southwest 29th Way. The applicant, having already spoken, hasn't stated a hardship. Chose to buy a piece of land that's covered in mature oak trees and worried about leaves falling on his cars. Should have taken that into consideration when he purchased the property. This is, however, a much bigger issue. My understanding is that the only way that code enforcement and the building department can address this issue is if this board asks code enforcement and building department questions. So I would encourage you to ask code enforcement and the building department about what has actually transpired here. This gentleman has developed this property without permits. He had concrete poured up to the second floor tie beam before code enforcement and building department got involved. He was then instructed to get special inspectors to come back and certify that the work that he had done to that point without permits was done correctly. The variance application for the carport is one of numerous code violations that are not even being addressed by this application. There is an addition. There's an addition to the west side of the house that was a patio slab that was enclosed. It also now has AC compressors.
Okay, but actually, to their point, sir, we're not the code board, so.
I know, but I'm trying to open the door for you to speak to the officers that are here that do have the relevant facts.
Go ahead.
So the bigger issue is it's a complete disregard for the code. He's disregarded the neighbors. He's disregarded the code. He's disregarded the city. He's just built whatever he's wanted there, and now he's coming back and throwing himself literally at your mercy. I know that there is a propensity with Board of Adjustments to be reluctant to say to a homeowner, tear it down, because they've already invested a lot of money to build it. I would implore you to tell him to tear it down. He knew he was building it illegally, and he continued. The carport that's been added on to the east side of the house, the most recent addition, is not on the permitted set of plans. It is cantilevered out all the way to the property line. As an architect, I can state for fact there is no way in hell it meets the Florida building code for high velocity hurricane zone. And it just keeps going. As I said, in addition to the west side of the house, the carport addition in the front yard setback. There's also the bigger issue of what doors you open if you start to approve these things simply because he chose to build it without requiring or without securing the appropriate approvals in advance. I'll leave it at that. I think I've made my point. There's no hardship here, so.
Okay, and before you go, there's going to probably be some questions. And Doug, microphone though, please.
There's no pictures actually of his house in here. There's pictures of the neighbors. Do you happen to have a picture of his house or property?
No, but I could call up the Broward County Property Appraiser's website.
So I was looking at it at lunch.
Yeah, I was missing a picture of his property.
You're saying this has already been built, but he's coming in here and asking for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How that was not mentioned in here.
But can you not address that question to code enforcement in the building department here too? Can they confirm that for me so that's not hearsay coming from me? I'm happy to answer it, but, that's the only question?
That was the only question.
Okay, that was easy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there any other questions for this member of the public? Bob, your microphone on?
Microphone's on. When I was looking at the aerials, obviously there's a lot of foliage and things like that, and I was having trying to figure out what we were talking about, what was being built, what was not being built, what was coded, what was not coded. It isn't really in the presentation, so I had a lot of sort of questions walking in here today.
Right. Well,
That's why I had the question about, is the genesis of this code violations?
Yeah, I
think they're all calling.
I'm not even sure how to address it.
I mean, I can certainly back up the speaker here. I live in the neighborhood, so I go by this house all the time. And in general, despite that, when I looked at the package online and the survey, which was part of the package, which wasn't actually printed, but a lot of the same information is on the sheet that's in our packet. It says there's a lot of things that just aren't really accurate, so I had a really hard time looking at this package and really, I don't even know how staff actually honestly approve this package, but that's neither here nor there. But it says a one-story CBS residence. It's actually a two-story home, a giant two-story home. It shows one pergola here on the corner, but as Scott has said, there's actually another pergola here, which extends over the wall of the home, which you can't do. So there's just a lot of things that that are kind of not correct. And this engineer that stamped this, and the survey is dated November, and that pergola certainly was built, this one that's not on the plan, before then. So then I was questioning the validity of the surveyor. So I had a big problem with this application. I don't know if you guys...
Let me tell you what we're going to do. So we're going to let the owner come up. We're going to let them have any rebuttal. Then we're going to ask any questions of the owner, and then we can go from there. Thank you, sir. Sir, you can come up. Any statements you want to make, and then I'm sure we're going to ask you some questions.
Good evening again. Return back to the nice gentleman over here, what is pointed about some kind of problem on the intersection, setback, or triangle. Guys, you have the couple gentlemen over here who was visit my property, I think not once. And in my corner, it's not kind of obstruction, what this gentleman mentioned before. It's number one. I don't see any kind of problem right there. Now, the gentleman here, I don't know the gentleman, maybe my neighbor, so I don't know, okay? So what is also mentioned about the flooding, so my property is the up corner above each property on the neighborhood. So obviously the old water, what is coming, was the rain, or whatever it can be, it's coming from the up, down, is the physical. So what you mentioned before and what you mentioned before, sir, in full respect, I not agree on that. Besides, if it was evaluation of my construction, my house, it was a lot stuff going on during the Corona, where I started this project and Corona hit us. And also it was a lot time where the city not was open at all. And communication was very tough. So to come back to your point, what is built without the permit, you're on, okay? You're on. So all my properties got the permits. All my properties got the permits for all construction, everything what I doing.
Mr. Chair,
okay.
If you'd address us instead of the public.
So
Yes. Thank you,
what I can suggest to everybody here, welcome to my property, and we go over again to who and how it's bother. And even though my neighbors as well, and the nice gentleman can welcome and tell me that where is see kind of problem on triangle in my property, if it's kind of problem with the school, stadium, whatever it can be. Because everything what him say here, I not agree.
Okay.
In full respect.
So we're going to have some questions for you.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Milton, go ahead.
I have a question. With
And if you could bring the
regards to
microphone
your-
closer.
With regards to your hedge line, is that your hedge line?
Yeah, it's the corner. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the corner. So you don't even meet the site triangle, because if I pull up there, I don't see how I could see around the way it's unsafe.
What do you mean? You can see the survey also, sir, and you see the triangle over there.
But I'm looking at the hedges here. I
Okay,
mean,
and what you
and
don't-
you're on the corner,
And what you
and
don't
you
see
can't
is
see around the hedges. They're
tell
supposed
you
to be
why.
cut down to a certain height.
I tell you
So,
why.
for
I
Deputy
can
City
tell
Attorney
you-
Dwayne Spence, for the record, the photograph, although it's not marked, it's in the package and shows the notice sign and a flatbed truck. Is that what we're referring to?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, can I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first of all, the Riverland Road, it's not straight street. When you come into the stop sign from the small street on the side, what you just showing on the picture, so the street, it's pitching left direction to the north, okay? So it's not exactly straight what you can see. So if you come into the stop line, you see left, right, no problem at all. So I don't know which picture, from which corner you did, or somebody did, I don't know. But again, it's not show me any obstruction right there, but this is why I tell to everybody, welcome to my property and let's drive, let's walk, and let's check and let's check. That's it. Because this picture is not correct angle.
Okay, Milton, was there other questions, or was that? the other one?
I have no other questions other than that.
Okay, I'll ask you to turn your microphone off. Is there anybody else from the board? Caldwell?
I had a question for the city when we're done.
Okay, just pop your microphone. You might as well ask now.
Yeah, so I guess the question for city staff is, how did we get to where we are today? I love asking that question. And the reason I ask that is we have people from the public testifying that, hey, there are existing code issues, so on and so forth, and I just want to make sure that the board is getting accurate information from the public, that we had limited or no knowledge to this point.
Go ahead, Bert.
Okay, so the architect who stated earlier was fairly accurate in what I had a discussion with the assistant building official over the building code section, and he did state to me that they posted a stop work order while the property owner was building the second floor without a permit. The work stopped. They had done the work up to that time where there weren't any inspections. They did agree on accepting a special inspector for those inspections, whatnot. They did receive a permit. There was a stop work order that was posted. It was lifted after they obtained the permit for the second floor addition. Then they continued to work on the carport in the front that never had a permit, and they got cited for that. And then also the carport that's on the side of the house. James Hollingsworth, one of my structural plans examiners, and I went out and visited the site and spoke to the property owner. And at that time, that side yard carport only had the steel I-beams installed. And we instructed him at that point, don't go any further with this carport. The one in the front was essentially done. And wait till you're able to go for a variance and go from there. And because if the variance is denied, there's no sense in wasting the money building it. Well, we went out there this afternoon because received an email from the association president, and I spoke to him as well, saying that the carport had been finished, which we didn't realize. So James is trying to print those pictures right now that he took of that side carport, and he's going to take and print the picture of the front carport as well.
Is that the one with the I-beams you said don't go any further?
The one on the side is.
With the I-beams you said don't go any further, but it's
Right,
not
I asked him,
completed.
just don't go there until you get it, don't go any further until you get a variance, because I don't want you to waste money building something that may not receive a variance, and you have to take it down. But he completed it anyway. There were some other items that we saw on the property that didn't appear to be permitted, but I'll ask him to respond on whether they were part of his permit package, because we don't have the plans in-house right now, and I looked for them. And there was some structures in the back that were in the side yard setback on the south side, and we did talk to him about that, but I'll let him address whether those were part of the addition permit or any of the other permits. So if you want, James can bring up the photos that he had taken when he was out there this week.
Okay, Chairman.
Go ahead, Pat.
I just want to make sure I know what I'm looking at when I see the pictures. So what's on this survey is the pergola is the one that he was building.
Well, they're actually carports. They're
Right, okay, but it's called a pergola. But
Right,
So
but
that the one that's facing Riverland Road is one of the variance requests, but then there's one in the back as well?
Yeah, it shows on the plans as just being two posts, and it has setbacks of 13 and 14 plus feet. You'll see it on the north side, those two posts, but that has since been completed. And we don't really know the dimensions of it, so what we've submitted in this package isn't up to date with everything that's been done.
So for a matter of correction, Dwayne Spence, Deputy City Attorney, said the applicant is the one who submits for a variance request, and the packet only includes the carport that's identified as the pergola roof. That's what is before the board for consideration. All the other evidence can be used by the board in considering whether or not the applicant has met their burden by preponderance of the evidence that they met the code requirements for variance for the request that they have put, that they have submitted to the board. But the other structures are, to the extent that you find that relevant to whether or not there's a hardship related to this item, as what you can consider that additional information as.
You're correct, but it's always much better for us to have all the information with what's going on with the total property, so we can look at a package. Yes, we only have to vote on the item before us, but.
No,
Rather
I'm
know the whole
absolutely,
deal.
we're absolutely on the same page.
Because
I
on
just want
face value,
to
when
make
it
sure,
first came before us, it's like, what's going on?
just want to make sure the record reflects that we're on the same page.
Right, and Bert, I just want to, again, there are 3 variances requested. One is to allow the total aggregate floor area of an accessory building. That accessory building that we're talking about is that thing called a pergola, right?
That's correct.
And we're not really sure how big it is because there was no, but it doesn't matter. It's bigger than it should be.
Well, the one in the front, we do have the dimensions for.
Okay.
The
And
one
then-
the one in the back, when we processed the paperwork, we had no knowledge that it had been completed. We only know that there was 2 supporting structures there.
But all of these variances that are requested are with respect to the one in the front, right? Yes.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
So, to also clarify that, it is with respects to the one in the front. However, the terms of the sections are broader. So, for example, the aggregate floor area of all accessory buildings, which is the first variance request, would be impacted by these additional structures to increase the percentage of the plot area that all accessory structures would apply to. They've submitted in their packet evidence of only one accessory structure, but if granted, this exceeding 5% would encompass those additional structures that you are hearing about now.
So right now, the one in the, well, I'll wait till Bert's. Yeah, so actually, because we now know that there's others, the.
It does impact your vote
yeah.
on that first variance criteria because that's for the aggregate floor area of all accessory buildings.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions of the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Can I say something?
If you want to say something real
Yeah,
quick,
of course
that's
I
fine.
want. Of
Okay.
course I want. So like you have the old pictures what it did by gentlemen, right? So you see this the giant trees, right? So these trees is providing me over $100,000 already damages on my assets. So just take consideration on that. And you see how big this tree is. The big oaks, maybe 100 or 150 years old. All right?
Okay,
And I want to protect my assets. This is my point.
okay, thank you,
Okay?
sir.
Thank you.
Just a quick question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah. Question for you. When you said it's done over $100,000 in damage to your assets, when you say your assets, what are your assets?
My car, sir.
So you own a bunch of cars.
I own about 12 cars, sir.
And what kind of business are you in?
Construction, sir.
Construction. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is it time for statements, or is that later, or questions?
Well, I think we're done with questions. Let's bring it back to the
Well,
board
I mean,
at this
I'm
point.
just like, what is, I don't know the germaneness of an oak tree versus the lack of permits or asking for a variance. I
If
don't,
there's a question for staff, go for it.
yeah, I don't see, I'm trying to draw a connection between, okay, I have a lot of trees in that area, which that's what that neighborhood is known for, the tree covers. And that's a hardship when the real issue is not getting permits and not seeking city approval for development of a property. I don't see the connection there from what the applicant just said.
So, you know, I understand he's stating that the reason he wants to build a structure is to protect his assets from the tree. I don't think it has any relevance on,
Yeah.
and again, this is my opinion, any relevance on doing work without permit. if that was your question.
Yeah, I mean, I see why he would want to do that, but that's
But-
not
but,
the
you know,
issue. The issue is no permits.
You know, I think that's what the board has to decide for themselves on what relevance there is to that.
So, again, to do a slight correction, the issue is not whether or not it's unpermitted. The issue is that it is built in violation of code sections, and he's seeking variances from the code sections that they violated. Yes, if they had applied for permits, the reviewers would have found that they were in violation of these sections and would have corrected that. But they did not go through that process, and now they're before the board claiming a hardship and asking you to provide variances to the code section that their structures violate.
Good, thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, then let's bring it in for a vote. Anybody like to make a motion? Go ahead, Pat.
Do you want a motion on all of them at the same time?
Can we, or?
Yes.
I don't think we can.
I think we can. Dwayne,
well,
can
I'll
we take
make-
them together, or do they have to be individual in this one?
You can take them together. I think the practice of the board, particularly when you have discussions and there's some difference in the opinion of the board with regards to one variance request versus another, that they find it easier to separate them. But if you feel pretty confident with regards to the variances, you can put them in one motion.
I'll leave it up to you, Pat.
Well, then I'm going to start with the site triangle one, because I don't feel like we should be giving, site triangles are really critical, and it's a safety issue, and I don't feel like we should be, site triangle has nothing to do with his trees, and so I would make a motion to deny 47, the variance to 47-2-2Q3 for the site triangle. He's for failure to meet the criteria for granting of a variance.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, Jamie, roll call on that one. A motion for denial.
Mr. Mead?
For denial, yes.
Yes is to deny, yes. Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, motion on the other two. You take them one by one. Bob?
Mr. Chairman, I move to oppose the variance request for section 47.39 A.1B subsection 3, I guess is the proper way, general provisions for allowing the floor area, and also join with oppose section the variance for section 47.39 A1 point B. Was that parent 3? I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Join those two motions together to oppose.
For clarification, member, by opposed, do you mean deny?
Deny.
If we can reflect that in a motion as well.
Motion to deny both those issues for
Thank you.
request
Second
of
it.
variance.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
And Chair Elfman?
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We're going to move on to the next item. We're actually done, and it's the case is closed.
No, we're done, sir, sir, we're done. We're done, we're moving on to the next item. Thank you.
I'm gonna move tomorrow permit for the old tree removal on the property.
Sir.
By different code.
Sir, we're moving on to our next item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, item number 4, case number 231-00003, 1551 Northwest 6th Street. Do we have an applicant? And before we move on, is there any disclosures? Milton? Doug? No. Jason?
Nope.
Bob?
No.
Caldwell?
I'm sorry.
Disclosures?
Been to the site.
Okay, Pat?
Nothing.
Okay, and none for me. Sir, please state your name, relation to the property.
My name is Kevin Rodriguez. I'm the operating partner for B&D Trap, which is a restaurant that we're opening up on this property. My business partner owns the property under 1551 Sistrunk LLC, and I'm here trying to get an exception because we are 427 feet from the Mount Olive St. Aventus Church, and I believe the rule is we need to be at least 500 feet or more.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak on this? Okay. Seeing none, while you're here, does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
I do.
Okay, Caldwell?
Have we reached out to the community? Have we reached out to the church?
I've reached out numerous times going back to November because we actually did something for Thanksgiving. We donated some food. The number on Google is incorrect. The two numbers that they have online, one goes straight to voicemail. I've left numerous voicemails on there. The other number is not connected. So what we did starting in Thanksgiving, we partnered with the Brower Partnership to donate some food. I'm not sure if you've been by the property that's down the street from where we are, but constantly shut. There's gates all around there, very hard to get into, but I've tried numerous times to reach out to somebody. And just for the record, this is, we're planning on selling beer and wine. We're not trying to do liquor. This is going to be a business that's open probably from around 11 to 7, just like other barbecue places are in the South Florida area. We've worked with the CRA that gave us a grant to open up this business specifically in this community and in this lot. And we have a plan to literally start a food group, not just in Florida or outside of Florida, but in the Sistrunk area as well. My partner owns numerous lots going all down the street. And, it's very important for us to be successful, to be a staple in the community. And we want to be a part of developing the Sistrunk area. And, for me, barbecue is a communal experience. That's the reason why we put picnic tables in the patio and not just regular 2 tops or 4 tops. We want people to go in there, eat with people they didn't come with. And for me, at least, it's important that I want to feel like I'm at home when I'm eating food or barbecue food, because I know I'm not capable of making it at home. And, barbecue with beer goes perfectly, or wine, because it's a 2-cop license. But sorry, going back to your original question, yes, I did reach out numerous times.
Is there any other questions?
Can you just locate where the church is?
You want to walk over to you?
That's you. Where's the church? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the corner. It's all the way down that same street. So this is Sistrunk, and this is also right on the corner. It's called.
Okay, so there's a lot between you and them. There's a lot of buildings.
There's a huge parking lot.
If we can get the applicant on the microphone, please.
Sorry, there's a huge parking lot. I'm not sure if they're the ones that own that lot, but I mean, there's random cars that park there. Sometimes I'll see like an RV out there. I'm not really sure where the measurement was taken from, whether it was from our property line or whether it was from our door to their door. But yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
Sure.
Is the barbecue any good?
So I've been in hospitality my whole life. I've opened up restaurants and bars in New York, in Ireland, in Orlando. Most recently, I opened up a huge food hall in Miami. It took me about 6 months to find the chef. He specializes in Texas barbecue. He worked for Todd English in New York. He opened up barbecue in Dubai, a barbecue restaurant in Dubai. He opened up a barbecue restaurant in Las Vegas. Most recently, we flew out to where he opened up PBR, a live bar in Alabama. Me and my partner flew there that day. We had a handshake deal. We moved them out here, and we are just waiting to open up hopefully at the end of this month. But what I can assure you is that we're going to be successful, and you can't compare our barbecue to any other barbecue. And I'm not just saying that, and I invite anybody here to experience it themselves.
Going to take on that challenge. Thank you. Was
My
there any
pleasure.
other questions? Caldwell?
Nope.
Pat?
Nope.
Okay.
Ready for motion?
I have a question. He said that you reached out to the church and you have not been able to see anybody. Do they have a congregation? Do they meet there? Do they have church there?
Yeah, I believe they meet on Saturdays. Other than that, I've never ever been able to get in there. Again, it's normally locked. I think it's on Wednesdays. They'll have a huge line out there because they do, I believe they provide food for the homeless. Again, that's why I had originally reached out even before I was trying to apply for this 2-cop license. But again, nobody reached back out to me, and that's why we went with and donated food to the bar partnership, because it is important for us to be involved with the community. And I'm hoping that at some point I could, either it's the pastor or whoever is in charge over there, we can meet and I could have them over to the business for some food.
I'm not in favor of it unless you reach out to the church. The distance requirement of 500 feet is there for a reason, and I would not be in favor of it.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's 73 feet, but again, I completely respect your decision, and I understand it.
Yeah, point of information, I've been on that church property before in the past. It is convoluted and a huge parking area. And I just, back in my mind though, I could be wrong. That church congregation, was that the one that just had a fire or some kind of issue on their property? I remember reading something about something in the neighborhood that had an issue. I don't know if I'm on the right one or not, but I will support a motion to approve this.
Okay, so Pat, I think you were going to make your motion.
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion to approve the special exception.
Okay.
As requested.
Okay, so we have
second.
A motion and 2 seconds. Jason was the first second. Bob, you were too slow.
Okay, I know.
Okay. Any further discussion? Let's do a roll call.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
No.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
And Chair Oakman?
Yes. Motion
Pass 6
passes.
to 1.
Congratulations. Thank you. Next case, item number 6, case number 23110002, address 2418 Southwest 30th Avenue. Sir, please state your name and relation to the property.
Mark Engel, I am the owner of the property.
And Mark, could you hit the little button to, there you go, thank you. And I heard that you're the owner of the property. Please go right ahead.
We're requesting a variance to build a pool in the backyard. This property was originally part of Broward County. When we were incorporated into the city of Fort Lauderdale, they created a separate section of the code that incorporated some of the Broward County code. The wording of the variance says that we want to go to 3 feet, from 5 foot to 3 foot in the setback, when in reality we want to be 6 feet from the property line. The Broward County Code has a section that says that the setback is measured 3 feet from the edge of the pool. So it's a 5 foot setback, but when it's measured 3 feet from the edge of the pool, it means the pool needs to be 8 feet from the property line. So the way it's worded, if we have a setback of 3 feet and the measurement is 3 feet from the edge of the pool, we are 6 feet from the property line. It's something that we're just asking to be consistent with the rest of Fort Lauderdale, which is 5 feet. We have several neighbors behind us that built pools both when we were Broward County and when we were Fort Lauderdale, and they're both between 5 and 6 feet from the property line. So even Broward didn't consistently enforce this, kind of a weird wording in the code. So that's basically the reason for our request.
Okay. Is there anybody from the, thank you. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak to this matter? Okay, in that case, sir, I'll let you sit down for a moment. We'll call you back up. And I'll ask you to restate your name again. Getting a lot of airtime today.
Yes, this I'll do as a resident instead of a member of the board. My name is Ted Jagustin at 3005 Southwest 25th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33312. And this is the same neighborhood of Mr. Steve, who you heard before. And I would support this because Mark, he didn't say this, but he's an architect. And he is one of the people who probably really understands that the law is the minimum standard for ethics. So I would support this. And I've been to his property, and he's not in violation of any codes at the present time. So I would support this.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else wishing to speak to this? Okay, in that case, close the public hearing. Does anybody have any questions of the applicant? If so, I'll bring them back up. Anybody? Okay, in that case, you could stay seated where you are. Bring it back to the board for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move approval of PLN-BOA 23110002 for a variance as conditions of amendment.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? No discussion? Yes, Pat, go ahead.
Just the discussion is that I feel that they've met the hardship requirement of the variance requirements, because this is not a situation of their keeping and making, and if they were in Fort Lauderdale originally instead of being incorporated from Broward County, they wouldn't have to be here. So that's the hardship that I see.
Agree.
Thank you for adding that. Okay, let's do a roll call.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
And Chair Oakland?
Yes, motion passes.
7-0.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next case, item number 7, case number 23110004, property address 501 Northeast 10th Avenue. Any disclosures?
Site visit.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Milton? No. I'm sorry, Milton?
No.
No. Okay, Doug?
No.
Jason? Nope. Bob?
No.
Thank you, Caldwell. I know site visit. Pat?
None.
Okay, none for myself. And, okay, sir, please state your name, relation to the property.
How you doing? My name is Dwayne Shaw. I'm a contractor.
Good evening. I'm Brad Lipkowitz. I'm the property owner.
Okay.
Essentially, we're here today asking for 2 variance requests. The first one is allowing a fence within the restricted setback. Current code currently calls for 3 feet from the property line. In 1994, a permit was pulled. The current fence is pretty much dilapidated. It needs to be, changed over. So that's what we're here to do, change it over. However, if we now adhere to the current code, it would actually mean the fence would have to be in their pool deck, and it would actually destroy part of the pool deck. So we're just asking to basically just put the fence right back in the exact same spot that the current fence is.
Okay. Anything else to add, or that's pretty much it?
That is on that one. Anything you wanna?
Is it okay if I speak to both of them when I speak?
Okay. And then the other one is asking for a variance in terms of the site triangle. I believe in site triangles, and I know it can be a little bit touchy. The reason why we're asking for a site triangle variance is, one, we want to be able to put a fence across the driveway to encroach it, to enclose the driveway. 2, based upon the code, it just seemed a little odd because it's calling for 2 site triangles back to back, which is causing the additional hardship. All we're just saying is, can we just keep it with 1 site triangle? There's no, in at least in my opinion, any minimizing of safety whatsoever by just keeping 1 site triangle instead of having a double site triangle.
Okay. Brad, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, please. So we submitted a letter to you all as well, I believe that you have, with 10 pertinent points. A couple I'd like to highlight. Fortunate to have 2 little girls, so safety is really one of the major concerns for us. The house is a little funky for the neighborhood, if you will, because the entrance, the driveway, and the garage is on the side of the house. So we use this as our primary entrance. With the 2 little girls, they're getting older, and as they get more independent, they like to leave where the current fence is, and whether it's to go to school, to get in the car, sometimes they'll run and beat us out there. So it's a safety measure. It's also for them to have a safe place to be able to play, as well as for pets. The neighborhood unfortunately has had, I believe it's 12.5 plus home break-ins as well in the last month or 2, to the point where we've had to create neighborhood committees, text strings. Fort Lauderdale Police is aware and is increasing patrols as well. But we put up a number of cameras, lights over the years. They don't seem to be a deterrent. We also have had car break-ins in the neighborhood, numerous carpools on an ongoing basis. So fencing in, being able to fence in the driveway would help protect not only the children's place to play, but the home itself, as well as the cars on the driveway. Victoria Park, the lots part of the quaintness, they're measured in square footage, not in acreages. So it'll also allow us to maximize the space that we have to be able to enjoy the property, and again, for a safe space for our children and pets to play. As homeowners, we wouldn't want to put in something regarding the site triangle specifically where it would create a potential issue, where it would cause damage, it would potentially create a homeowner's claim that we would have to file. With the pictures that you have and the truck, even as a full-size truck, it's over 14 feet from where the street is to where we're requesting the variance to put the fence. I Googled, the average car in the United States is 14.7 feet long. On the extreme end, a Ford Expedition, a Chevy Tahoe is 17 feet. So even in the most extreme examples, if you allowed this variance, the entire car, or even in the largest cars, only the very end, the very boot end with the storage space would not be completely exposed. It would not have complete line of sight to the street. And again, the driveway is right there, so there's no foliage, there's nothing else blocking the vision to the street. Regarding the location of the fence, as Dwayne said, we're merely requesting to leave the current location. We're not looking to extend it, just the current location of the fence. But again, in summary, having the drive-in fence, it will help further reduce the open and vulnerable pieces of the property while allowing us to further enjoy the property and without impacting the aesthetic of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't go far yet. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak to this matter? Okay, seeing none, close the public hearing. I'm going to ask if there's any questions, bring it back to the board. If there's any questions of the applicant first, and then if not, we'll just bring it back to the board completely. Caldwell.
For the applicant, two questions. Number one, you said if you had moved the fence back, it would go on top of the pool deck. The existing fence that is currently there, is it permitted?
Yes, 1994.
Okay.
It was closed out February 10th, 94.
And the existing pool deck, is that permitted?
Yes, yes it is.
Okay, it wasn't extended without permits or any of that other stuff? Just making sure we're clear.
At least not to my knowledge, but I did come across in archives a permit for the pool and a permit for the pool deck.
But did you look at the dimensions of it, or you're just assuming?
Dwayne, I'm going to ask you to get closer to the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know in terms of the dimensions. All I know is there was a permit for the pool and pool deck.
All right.
Go ahead, Pat.
I'm trying to figure out where there are two side triangles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out where they are.
So there is a marking for when we submitted, that sheet, where when we submitted a application for the permit, and they kind of noted to me where the two triangles would be. And also I meant to note that there is the street. That is actually an alley that's very seldom ever used. I mean, some of the alleys have junk and garbage in them. It's not a frequently traveled accessory road at all.
Yeah, if I could add to that point, there are no garages, there are no carports on the alley itself. The police horses tend to be the ones that use it. To the point that two houses down from us, for the last year or so, it was a tear down and a rebuild, and they had the alley completely blocked off with just debris from the pool area that they built. So there was no passage through the alley anyway. But again, no garages, no carports, anything like that on the alley. And we are an interior street within the neighborhood as well, so it's not 6th Avenue or one of the busier streets within the neighborhood.
Jason, and then Doug.
Are you in compliance with the big 25-foot site triangle that's shown on this plan? This is just a yard here?
Yes, but that is not in
That's not an
question.
okay.
Yeah,
That's just shown, but it's not an issue.
Correct.
It's this back here.
That is
okay.
correct.
So you're not fencing this, you're just fencing.
No.
Okay.
And to that point, when we put the signs up, we had multiple neighbors, some that are here with us today. They were curious about that they were concerned that was what we were looking for the variance in. There's no variance at all with the front or with the streets itself. It's only the one on the alley by the
So the alley area right now, you can see in the photos, it's not fenced right there next to the driveway. And so this fence you're putting up, it's going to connect to the gate, is what's going to kind of conflict with the site triangle.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's where I was stating that's where it's 14 feet from the street to where, if you approve the fence variance, to where the new fence variance would go.
Right. If there was no driveway there, I believe the site triangle was only 10 feet, but because of the driveway,
Yes.
it then adds the additional 15.
Yes.
And Jason, when you speak, if you could get closer to the microphone each time, so this way it's
sorry.
recorded.
Yes.
But we heard you. Okay, thank you. Anything else, Jason? Okay, Doug? Okay, then unlight yourself.
Well.
Any other questions?
But you could, on the far side of the driveway where you want to put a fence up, you could put a different type of fence up that had sight through it. You don't have to put a solid fence up.
Well, the driveway is right next to the pool deck as well.
No, the other side of the driveway.
No, yes.
Are you putting a fence up over here by the alley side?
Yes, so the fence would go from the existing fence across the driveway to the alley, and so basically the one you see on the other side of the street, the other side of the alley, the neighbor on this side, the grass part is the alley. So the fence would go to basically what is it, 2, 3
This is
feet?
the alley right here. That's the alley, or the alley's on the other side of that fence?
That truck is actually in the alley.
Yes, so that's Fifth Avenue.
So this is the driveway, and where the truck is actually parked, that would be the alley.
So you want to put your fence, instead of here where it is, turning here, you want to put it on the other side of the driveway?
It would be a rolling gate that would continue all the way across the driveway.
Basically just in front of where his fence is. So where his fence is where his fence is in the, or, I'm sorry, where his truck is in the picture, he's in the alley. So the fence would continue from where it is currently. It would fence in the driveway, and then it would curve. So if the fence was up, his truck would still be positioned exactly. It would be able to be positioned exactly where it is.
Okay. So the site triangle issue is because you want to move the fence, not because of where the fence is now versus the rules changed.
No, because we want to extend the fence.
I got
so,
that, but that's,
yeah,
if you don't extend the fence, you don't have a site triangle problem.
Correct.
Okay, Mohammed?
I have a question with the applicant, just to clarify for even ourselves we were discussing. When you mean extend the fence, you're going to have a gate on the driveway?
Yes, that's what we're wanting to do is extend the fence to be able to fence in the driveway.
In the driveway. And also one question, the driveway was existing, you're going to redo it, right?
No, we're not modifying the driveway in any way.
Okay, so basically, just with the fence and the side triangle, the fence is the issue.
The additional site triangle.
Additional side triangle is the issue. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions of the applicant? Colba?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the bunch, but I'm still completely confused on exactly what we're doing on this item. I know you guys got some explanations down there, but I'm not real clear. What I'm looking at is a completely opaque fence, whatever material it may be, and I'm not 100% up to date on the fence codes, but I understand if you have a more of a see-through fence, like a picket fence, it could be a little closer, and then you can have some step backs or setbacks, and there are other ways to skin a cat. So I'm not really wrapping my arms around what we've got going on here tonight.
From at least what we were explained, nothing can be in that site triangle. So I don't even think a 3-foot, if I'm not mistaken, and please you guys can clarify. But from what we were told, nothing can go in that site triangle there.
So we're solely discussing a site triangle and nothing else?
Well, there's 2 variances.
Correct.
One is okay. So the first one is the fence. Current code says we now need to be 3 feet within the property line. If we do that, it would then cause damage to the existing pool deck. So we're asking for us to be able to put the fence in the exact same spot where the current fence is. The second variance is he would now like to put a rolling gate across the driveway to enclose the driveway. In doing so, it would then affect the second site triangle.
So, let me try. So on the little plan that he gave us, on the upper left-hand corner, there's like 3 triangles up there, right? A 10-foot, a 10-foot, and a 15.
I got the site triangle.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah.
But I'm still back on the fence.
Yeah, so they just want to put a new fence in the location where the old fence is, which is currently does not meet current code by the location. It met the old code, but not the new code.
Okay, because you need to go back so you're on a mic, but my question is, like, this picture shows your garage right now is not enclosed in a fence. So if I were going to go to your house, I would drive up to your garage and I would go in the fence somewhere there. You want to move that fence, so you're going to fence the side of your property along the alley.
Yes,
So you're going to have a fence all along the side. Let me see a picture of that. All along, right here, along the alley, you're going to have a fence.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to remove the fence that's right now on the other side of your driveway, so you can open up your front yard, and you're gonna extend the fence line to the new fence that's gonna run along the alley.
Yeah, it's actually the side yard because of how the house is laid out, but the pool is on the side, and it would allow us to use the driveway as a patio, and again, have a larger fenced-in area for the children.
I think I get it.
So basically, the fence will be about 1 foot to your left of the driveway.
I'm not good on lefts and rights unless you can tell me north
So
and
basically,
south.
it would be on the west side. So it'll
West.
be 1 foot west. There would be a post there. and it would go
Southwest
to-
corner of the property, would that be?
Yes.
Yes.
And the fence that we're going to put, I guess it's along
PVC. Oh.
5th Street, which I'm looking at a picture right now, right?
Yes.
Is that fence, the new fence, going to go in the exact location, or are you trying to move it closer to the street?
No, we're trying to do it in the exact same location.
That is the property line. So it's on the
That-
property line now.
It's like almost just about a foot within the property line.
So you're still 14 feet from the street, right?
Yes, it's a little over 14 feet.
Yes.
But it's only in the areas where there's a
Go ahead, Dwayne.
I just sought clarification on the marked survey with the red ink. The fence, or what I presume to be the fence, is drawn the 3-foot average. Is that what it's referring to, the fence location?
I'm sorry, ask that question again? What?
This red line, what does it represent? That says 3-foot average on this document.
Okay, yeah, that is saying that it needs to be 3 feet within the
The
property line.
code requirement.
Correct. The code requirement
Okay.
requires 3 feet.
Thank you.
I didn't even know what a site triangle was until this weekend. I looked it up.
Oh, good thing. Is there any other questions of the applicant? Okay. Don't think I've asked. It's been a little while. Did I ask if there was anybody from the public wishing to speak? And nobody? So I was just staring at you then. Okay, no problem. In that case, thank you. We're going to bring it back to a board.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, bringing it back, any discussion? And if not, let's entertain a motion. And let's take them separately.
I have a staff question.
Go ahead.
I have a staff question. It'll be easy, yes or no. Do the alleys have the same rules as streets? I mean, do they need a site triangle on an alley?
All right, so just to clarify, Ms. Rathburn, she said she had a question about the double side triangles. So street to street on the corner that's not part of this is a 25-foot. Alley to street is a 15. He stated it was a 10 early, but it's 15. The small site triangles that are in the swale and the right-of-way, that's for visibility when he's backing out or coming out of his driveway. It really has nothing to do with the structure because it's actually the site triangles are in the right of way. So the only one that really is affecting it is the 15-foot alley to street site triangle.
Alley to street. But if he's got a 14-foot setback, we're only talking about a foot issue on it, really.
It's in the
No, is it the
No, sir.
property or the street?
The side triangle is measured within the property lines. It will not go the
Oh, so
4-foot
it's
range.
another 15 from on his property.
And if you look at that way, yes, you're correct. It's 14 foot. The street starts like he has a swale of almost 14 foot, so he has a swale of 14 foot. But for our purposes, as a code, we measure the side triangle within the property lines. Only get extended if it was a curve. If curved, then the lines gets extended, and then we come back.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'll do a motion.
Just put on your microphone and you can do it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve section, excuse me, I'm right here. PLN-BOA 23110004, the approval for section 47-23.15, location of buildings and structures in site triangle.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion?
And the finding, that it.
That met the approval for variance.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
separately.
what the chair asked.
Okay. Any discussion? In that case, Ms. Sigerol?
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
No.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
And Chair Othman?
Yes. Okay, that
6 to
one
1.
passes. If we could do the second variance? Bob, do you want to, you're on a roll?
Sure. Mr. Chair, I move approval of second variance, section 47.19.5B, dimensional requirements, because they've met the requirements for variance.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
And Chair Othman?
Yes. Okay, motion passes.
7 to
Thank you.
0.
Do we have any other cases in front of us?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, you entertain a motion to adjourn?
You know.
I'll second that.
Okay, we won't entertain that. We're going to give him a break. Next case, item number 8, case number 231-20001. Good luck to you, Jason. If you
Big guy next to me is happy.
you should have said hello to him.
Well, I'm not going to attempt to verbally describe the request that I'm asking for this evening. Jason Crush with Crush Law on behalf of Deezer Powerline LLC, the property owner. This is a property located at 5100 Powerline Road. You'll see that there's a main building and an outparcel building. This site is a 17-acre site that was rezoned several years ago from industrial zoning to commercial recreation, which allows the type of uses that are there. Some of you might be familiar, extreme karting. They've got bowling, rock climbing walls. They have private venues. Now in the outparcel building is a 50,000 square foot building, which has the current use of Apex Shooting Center is there. I'm going to tell you what we're asking here. We're here to ask for an additional sign on the principal building. You'll notice that Apex is on the outparcel building is not connected to the 300,000 square foot principal building. This is one site. It was rezoned by the P&Z, and actually every use in here after it was rezoned is a conditional use, so anything has to be approved by the Planning and Zoning Board. And this was approved last year, and they finished construction and did kind of a soft opening last summer. They're not fully open yet. What I'm going to be asking you for after I explain and walk it through is to put an additional sign on the southern portion of the building that faces 95. All of you have probably driven I-95 and seen the extreme sign and probably the Belkin sign on the very north portion of this 300,000 square foot building. You cannot see this building from the residential properties to the east of 95. The only time you can see this is either eastbound or northbound, southbound on 95, or if you're coming off on the commercial ramp headed in the southerly direction. So there is signage around this site. Like I said, it's a very large site, and it fronts on the 95 right-of-way as well as power line. We have a monument sign. We could do another monument sign. We don't think that makes sense, but you'll see that the monument sign is filled. There is no more room for the Apex and Founders use. So this is what it looks like looking from the west to the east across power line. We do have signage facing power line. As you all know, there's a lot of shade trees and oak trees up and down power line. When I come off of Commercial and drive north, I almost miss the sign, and I know where the place is. They are finding that they're having issues with people coming from the north or south who haven't maybe been there. They've been advertised they want to go there, is driving around trying to find the location. Because it's part of this large site and everybody knows where Extreme is, they just don't know where Founders is. Now, when we say shooting range, it's not your grandfather's shooting range. The retail portion of this is more like an Apple store. They have a retail gun license. They sell guns, they sell paraphernalia, they sell holsters, paraphernalia, exactly. The ranges are state of the art. This system is the first in Florida. They have moving targets, and they're well ventilated, air conditioned, well lit. There's range officers in every lane. They do have firearm safety training. They have firearms training, and members of the public can come and shoot. They can actually rent pistols if they like to shoot pistols. And like I said, there's range officers. This isn't like going to the back of the gun store off of 441 like we all used to do. Part of this as well is they do have a club section that is very nicely appointed. It has a lounge room, a cigar room. They do not have a liquor license. They have a bottle club. You can bring your own bottle, and when you're done shooting, you can drink your own bottle if you happen to have a locker there or smoke a cigar. They do have conference rooms and seating areas that you can book to have meetings with friends, clients, or whomever. There's a golf simulator, there's squash courts, and there is a full gym. I've had a couple of my other friends and clients I've seen there say, hey, yeah, I canceled all my other memberships. I just come here. I work out, and I go in the showers. I put stuff in my locker. I maybe go shoot golf, and then I shoot and go to work. So they also do events. They're very involved in the community. They do fundraisers for the FOP, for the Broward Sheriff, for different county commissioners, city commissioners. They're members of the chamber. This is a picture of a chamber event they did recently. Brought a lot of folks from the Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce who maybe shot when they were children or have never shot before, and walked them out on the ranges, and it was a fantastic success. Other events supporting other initiatives that happen in our community. There's probably an event, in the club location 2-3 times a month. We hope it's more often. It's important for us to have some type of signage on 95 because people who are coming to these events may or may not be familiar with Fort Lauderdale. They could be coming from Pompano, West Palm, Miami, or Dania. What we're asking for, after I give you a history of what we're here and what the use is our sign code is a little awkward sometimes. I think city staff will agree with me on that. It's not a criticism of anyone here today. What we would have to operate under to do this type of sign is under the strip center sign code, which really did not contemplate this type of use, a big recreational whole site entertainment complex. The sign code does provide that it regulates, best land use and land planning uses. So we think that the one specific section, if you look on the slide, and I can't see that far, it says all the flat signs may only be permitted when associated with a ground floor tenant. Now, the signs that are existing on the big building on 95, that's a one-story building, those signs comply with the code. The reason why, working with Burton Muhammad and James, we don't technically meet that section of the code is because the building is disconnected. If there was an L and the building was connected, we would be a ground floor tenant and we would put a sign over there. That's why we're here to ask for this de minimis variance to allow us to put signage on the east side of the main building. I've set forth the reasons why I think that we meet the criteria in my narrative. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I know it's been a lot of items on your agenda this evening, but to show you again, and I'm going to show you what I think it's going to look like because my Photoshop skills are getting better and better. So looking aerial, looking west over 95, you can see to the right of my drop arrow is the extreme sign. Where I've got the drop arrows, we propose to put the sign. The sign meets the current size. We have a 300-foot max. The way the city measures the sign, it's 167 square feet. And that's my Photoshop job of the sign would look like that. And this is coming off of the off-ramp off of 95 southbound to get onto Commercial that someone would see and then loop around onto Powerline and come to our use. That's my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions you might have, and I respectfully request that you approve the variance. One variance this time, just one.
Thank you, Jason. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak to this matter? Seeing none, close the public hearing.
I think Joey raised his hand.
I was still impressed with that word diminutive. So, anybody from the board have any questions?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Bobo.
Is this related to firearms, sir?
under the city of Fort Lauderdale, a BB gun is a firearm. An airsoft gun is a firearm. So yes, but it's been approved by the city and by the Planning and Zoning Board.
Question about the sign. Is it illuminated or non-illuminated?
It would be illuminated, like the extreme sign.
Okay.
But you won't be able to, like I said, the neighbors from, you've got 95 is at a crown, a high crown. It's not going to interfere with the neighbors. Not like the Disney boat sign that there was concerns about Harbor Beach. You can't see it. You can only see these signs from 95.
The backlit.
Yeah, a backlit box.
Okay, Bob?
Your motion when the board's ready.
Okay. Is there any other questions of the applicant? Okay. So,
Ask me why you
looks like we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, in case PLN-BOA-231-20001, I want to move approval for the variance, section 47-22.3, shopping center strip store signs.
Do I have a second?
Because they've met the conditions for a variance.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, multiple seconds. Jamie, I'll let you pick which one you want for the second. Okay. In that case, any further discussion? Let's do call.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mead?
Yes.
Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Hagopian?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
And Chair Oldham?
Yes. Motion
7-0.
passes. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much. You all have a great evening.
Is there any communication to the City Commission? Actually, maybe we'll give you a microphone. Bert, if you could be kind enough.
So correction to case PLN BOA 2308004. The waiver was provided to the applicant on January 2nd, 2024. However, we did not receive it. However, if we move it to the February meeting, it will not surpass the 180 days. The first case.
The first case we already moved.
No, I
Bishop,
know.
just clarifying for the record.
Yes,
So
correct.
that's fine. We're still within the window of time for the waiver.
Yes,
Yeah.
the first case. I just
Got it.
wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you for clarification. Any communication to the commission?
One for the good of the order.
Okay, and I have one maybe for the commission is, you know, we do, you know, it's always good to have an extra backup, so maybe to encourage another alternate to be chosen. Since we have one alternate right now, who happens to be sitting next to me.
He's a great guy.
Yes, and so just to maybe gear up to have an additional alternate. And is there anything else for a good of anything?
Good of the order thing, and if it's silly, I apologize. I was wondering if sometime in the future, if we could have like a picture night, so we can all get a group photo together with staff, so you guys can use it on your website, and maybe when people leave and come to the board, we can give them a picture of the colleagues with a note on it saying, thank you for all your work. I think. No, I actually enjoy it.
Smile.
Wait a minute. Hey, look at that.
Wait, if you want one for your wallet, I'm fine.
No.
But I honestly don't.
Jason's gonna have it at Apex hung at the end of the range. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I want some of these people to remember what I look
like
like.
a graduation
Okay,
class
Jamie?
picture?
Yes.
Like a graduation class picture?
Wait a minute. No, we're still on camera. I mean, still on, Jamie?
If you really want to notify the commission about that request for another alternate, you have to make a motion.
Okay, so I'm gonna let
So
somebody
moved, Mr. Chair.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed? Okay, there we go. In that case, let's see. That was 1 hour and 30 minutes, not bad. Okay, we're adjourned, thank you.